Congressman Bob Gibbs. He represents a wide swath of sort of eastern, central Ohio. Congressman, thanks for being with us today.
I'm glad to be here, Chris and Charlie.
All right. Okay, good. Now, you are, aside from being a farmer, you are a member of the United States House of Representatives, and tonight, President Obama is expected to enter your chamber and deliver a pretty fiery denunciation of what you guys have done, and that you are preventing him from fixing things in this country. How are you guys going to respond?
Well, I'd like to see the president come and talk about the 30 bipartisan jobs bills that we've passed out of the House and over to the Senate, and encourage the Senate to consider those bills so we can get this economy going and get people back to work. These guys show some leadership.
And now, as far as this issue, the only thing that we're very clear on is that we know that the president is going to come out with what he calls the Buffett rule. He's going to have Warren Buffett's secretary sitting in the box, the presidential box, with his wife. It comes on the same day as erstwhile Republican frontrunner Mitt Romney has released his tax returns, saying that he pays at a 15% or a little less than a 15% rate. And the president's going to come out and say that he thinks nobody ought to be paying taxes so low, especially somebody that earns so much money, that gets so much money each year. How do you think that's a good idea or a bad idea?
No, what I would say, Chris, that Washington doesn't have a taxing problem. They have a spending problem. If you look back historically, when they've raised taxes, they've spent it. And we've got to get our spending under control and before we decide to do anything on raising taxes on our families and our job creators. And in the so-called Buffett rule, you know, one thing that they could do, if he wants his secretary to pay a lower rate, why don't he just pay him in the stocks like he pays himself in the capital gains and the dividends tax, which is everybody gets that if you have dividends or capital gains.
Yeah, but then they couldn't put her in the first lady's box and tell Mitt Romney he was a bad dude. Okay, now you guys
couldn't make a lot of rhetoric out of it. That's right.
So you guys have a lot of work to do, everything ranging from FAA reauthorization, the extension of the Social Security payroll tax holiday, all sorts of work lays ahead. Is there a concern that in a very rancorous, very partisan environment, which I suspect will get worse after tonight's speech, that we're headed for impasse and gridlock?
Well, I think we're going to move on the FAA bill and get that certainty there. I think on the Surface Highway Transportation bill, we're going to move on that. It's going to create a lot of jobs, and it's going to invest in America and our infrastructure. So I see a lot of bipartisan support there. But I think what we really need the president to do is take up our 30 bills, make the Senate consider them, and the gist of those bills is, you know, there's four things that gets this economy moving. Is we got to get our spending under control. That's our debt and deficits are kind of like a wet blanket over the job creators, are getting things going. We got to have common sense regulatory reform, and we have to have tax reform for our families and our job creators, and we have to have an energy policy that encourages the responsible development of our own natural resources here in this country. And along with that, he needs to reconsider his Keystone Pipeline decision, because that's jobs are there to happen, and it's going to stimulate the economy. It's going to help us be less dependent on foreign energy sources. You know, he came to us in September and said, we got to pass these things because American people can't wait. We can't wait. Well, we can't wait to get the Keystone Pipeline and these other initiatives done, and these 30 bills to get this economy going, get people back to work.
Okay, Congressman, we're very grateful that you made time for us today, and say hi to all the folks in Chillicothe for us, okay?
Okay, thanks. Glad to be with you.
Okay.